A very good morning to all of you, my dear children. In today's session, let's move on to a new chapter, that is verb tenses. So today we'll be learning about verb tenses. So before we move on to the topic, let's have a short recap on the topic verb. Okay. What is a verb, my dear children? Come on, tell me, what is a verb? Yes, action verb that denotes an action is called a verb. Okay, can you tell me a few examples of verb? Sing, yes. Dance, walk, pay, dance, and yes, all these are action words. Okay, so action words tell us what someone or something does. That we have already learnt it. Action words are called as verb. Okay, so action that we do are called as verb. So the action words tell us what someone or something does. So action words are called as verb. Okay. Now, these verb, children, it can also tell us when the action taken place. Okay. This verb can also tell us. Yes, my dear.
And today daily tests are there?
Yes, after the class. Okay. Now, all of you, please listen. So, I've told you we'll have just a recap on the topic verb. We already know what is a verb is. Verb is an action word. Okay. So, these verb can also tell us the time. Time means when the action has taken place. Is that clear? This verb can also tell us the time. Time means when the action has taken place. That's when the tenses come in. Okay? So when we talk about the time, children, time means when. Okay? So the tenses of the verb tell us when the action taken place. Is that clear to all of you? So we all do actions. Don't we do actions? So all the action words are called as verb. When it becomes tenses of the verb tells us the time when a person does an action or when an event is performed. Is that clear? Okay, it tells us the time. Is it today you have performed, or you have performed yesterday, or tomorrow is it going to perform? So that's where the tenses come in. Okay, so tenses of the verb, that is what we are going to learn in today's class. Tenses of the verb tells us when the action taken place or takes place. Okay, so let's move on to today's topic. So today's topic is verb tenses. So all of you, please have a look at it. Please do keep your book open. Unless we know this topic in detail, we can't do anything with this topic. Why means verb, we know it's an action word. That is so simple. But we are moving on to the next step. That is tenses. Tenses is very, very important in English grammar. Okay. So all of you, please do get ready. Just keep your book open. Let's move on to today's topic. That is verb tenses. I hope all of you are ready. Now, okay, so the tenses of the verb tells us the time. All of you, please listen very carefully. The tenses of the verb tells us the time when a person did something or something has happened. Okay, when a person do an action, it tells us the time when the action is performed, or it also tells us when the event occurred. It tells us the time. when an event happened or when a person did something. Is that clear to all of you? Okay, it tells us the time when a person did something or when an event has occurred. Clear to all of you? Yes. It tells us the time. That's why I've showed you the clock, the picture of the clock. So the tenses tells us the time when a person did something. When a person means a person can do any action. When a person has did something or when something happened or an event occurred. Okay. You celebrated your birthday. It's an event. So Reeve is celebrating his birthday now, today. So what tense it is? It is present tense. Okay. So and when an event occurred, that is what? It tells us the time when something happened or when a person did something. Is that clear? It tells us the time. Now let's move on.
Ma'am,
Yes, my dear.
can you let Rida in the class?
Rida, I'm letting everyone know, and I'm letting everyone, admitting everyone in the class. Then what's happening?
Now she's in. Now she's in.
Now she's in. Okay then. Now all of you please see this. Verb tenses depend on when. When means the time. When the action takes place. Is that clear to all of you? It tells us the time when the action has taken place.
Okay, ma'am.
So I hope all of you have understood.
Yes.
It went away.
And
All of you please have a look at it. Yes. All of you please do mute your audios, my dear. Yes. Yes. Now all of you please do listen. Verb tenses, it's depend on when the action takes place. It tells us the time when the action takes place. So in English, there are 3 main tenses. How many tenses are there? How many? 3. There are 3 main tenses. All these we will learn it in detail later. First, let us learn what it is. Okay.
ma'am, scheduling lead.
That's okay. Now listen. Okay, I'll be revising it again. Now all of you please do listen very carefully, my dear children. So we are stepping on to the topic tenses. I told you the verb tenses tells us the time when an action has taken place. Okay, when a person has performed an action or when a person did something or an event occurred, anything it can be. Okay, when an event occurred or when a person has did something, it tells us the time. So when it comes to the time, children, in English, there are 3 main tenses. The first one, it is called as the present tense. What's the first one is called, my dear? It is the present tense. Okay. The first tense the first tense is the present tense. Is that clear to all of you?
Yes.
The present tense tells us or it indicates what is happening now. It tells us what is happening now. Okay, so I've told you in English there are 3 main tenses. The first one is the present tense, the second is the past tense, and the third is the future tense. Clear? Present tense indicate what is happening now, at present moment, at now. That tells us the present tense. It tells us it is a base form of the verb. We cook dinner every day. Cook is the base form of the verb. Is that clear? So the present tense tells us or it indicates what is happening now. What is happening now? Okay, is that clear to all of you? Now let's move on to the second tense. The second tense is called as the past tense and it tells us what has already happened or what has been already been done. Okay, it tells us what has already been done. Who's this? Angelina KGB. I've given her admit and still. Okay, now what has already happened? It is called as a past tense. It's already happened. It's over. Okay, it has already happened yesterday. So we call it as a past tense or already done. Okay, so we call it as a past tense. To indicate the past tense, we add d or ed to the verb. To indicate the past tense, we add d or ed to the verb. We have to know the difference. No, is it a present tense, past tense, or future tense? Okay, when we read something, we should know whether the event has happened today, or whether the event has occurred yesterday, or whether the event is going to happen tomorrow. How to identify that? This is the best way. So the present tense tells us an event which has happened or a person has done an action today. Is that clear? So this is a present tense. What is happening now or today? We call it as present tense. When an event has occurred yesterday or day before yesterday or an event which has already happened, we call it as past tense. We call it as past tense. Is that clear? When an event has already happened, we call it as past tense. To show that an event has happened, to the verb, we add d or ed to the verb. What do? We add d or ed to the verb to show that the action is in the past tense. Clear to all of you?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Now let's move on to the third tense. What is the third tense? We call it as future tense. How to show? It tells us when an event is going to happen in future. That is tomorrow or day after tomorrow, or it can be after a week, or it can be after an year. So when an event has happened, is going to happen in future, we call it as future tense. Here, going to. It hasn't happened till now, it's going to happen. So we call it as future tense. To indicate the future tense, what do we do is, that is why I'm muting you all children. Please mute all your audios during the time of explanation at least. After that, you can unmute it. Now, future tense. This is a very, very important topic. So to indicate the future tense, what we have to do is, we have to add the word will before the verb. Clear? We have to add a word will before the verb. So will cook. Okay? So we will cook for dinner tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to happen. Is that clear to all of you? So how many tenses are there, my dear children? How many tenses are there?
3.
3. What are they? Present tense, past tense, future tense. Clear? Present tense, past tense, future tense. Clear? So the present tense tells us what is happening now. Okay, that is a base form of the verb. We write there, we cook for dinner every day. Or we write, or we play. That is the base form of the verb. Clear? Now, the second form is called as a past tense. So past tense tells us when an event has already happened or done. It's completed, over, the action is completed. So to indicate that, we add d or ed. We cooked for dinner yesterday. Yesterday means the action is over. We have already done the action yesterday. So when it's completed, we use d or ed to show that the action is in the past tense. Okay, we add ed or d. But this is not applicable for all the words, my dear children. Please do keep it in mind as we have just started with the base. So I've told you. Therefore, different English as such as a language, wherefore the same rule doesn't apply for all the words. Is that clear? So some words like regular verbs, we follow these rules. Clear to all of you? For few words, we call it as regular verbs. For those words, d or ed. For some other words, we'll come to it later. As we proceed further with the topic, I'll teach you. Okay? So, So here, in order to show that the word is in the past tense, we have to add D or ED to the verb. Clear? Yes.
Okay.
But so by looking at the sentence, we know that it is in the past tense. In order, future tense means what? It is going to happen. So what we have to do to the verb, we have to add will before the verb. So we call it as will cook. Okay. So these are the three tenses. So I hope it's clear. Now let's move on to the exercise. It's not an exercise. We have to learn this table well. Okay, this table is there in your workbook. Okay, so we know that there are three tenses: present tense, past tense, and future tense. Present tense is the base form. It tells us,
Number 16.
and yes, page number 16. All of you please open to page number 16. It tells us an event has happened now, is happening now. Okay, so it tells us what is happening now. So it is a base form, play. So I've told you to show it is in the past tense. What we have to do, we have to add, yes, 16. We have to add D or ED to the verb. Clear? We have to add D or ED to the verb in order to show that the word is in the past tense. Okay, so play, played is in the past tense. To show that it is in the future tense, what we have to do, I've already told you, add will before the verb. Before the verb. That is, before means what? Before. That is will play. Okay, so this is how it tells us. So by looking at the word, we know whether the word is in the present tense, past tense, or future tense. Clear to all of you? Yes. Now let's move on to the next word. Yes, Rida.
Future is
Future means will happen. It's going to happen in future. Okay, it's not it happened. It will happen in future. It's going till, yes. So what do we do?
Like
Yes.
we will do.
Yes.
In the future, we will say we will do.
Yes, we will do. Yes, we will do. So if we say, ma'am, I will complete my work tomorrow. So is that future tense? You haven't not yet completed. You will complete it tomorrow. Have you understood? Okay.
Yes.
So how to indicate that the word is in future tense? We have to add a word will before the word. So it is will play. Is that clear? Yes. Now let's move on to the next word, walk. Walked. We have added ed to it. And to indicate the future tense, it is will walk. Clear?
Yes.
Yes. Now let's move on to the third word, study. Here this word has end with Y. Okay. So what we have to do, take away the Y and add I to it and add ed to it. Okay. Before adding ed to it, add I. Okay, take away the Y, add I, and add ed to it. Okay, so it is studied. Okay, then the future tense is will study. Okay, now let's move on to the next word, talk. So it is talked. It is in the past tense. We have added ed to it. So it is in the past tense. So talked. Okay. Then in the future tense, what we have to do, will talk. Clear? Will talk. Similarly, pull. Pulled, add ed to it. So it is of past tense. Okay. And for the future tense, add will before the verb to show that it is in the future tense. Will pull. Clear? Now let's two more examples are there. Till 7th we will do it. Okay. Till 7th is the same. After 7th, till here we can call it as regular verbs. What we can call it as? Regular verbs. Okay. So for the regular verbs, we add D or ED to the verb to make it into the past tense. But for the irregular verb, the past tense entirely changes. Okay, that we will learn it in the next class. Now let us learn only the 7 words. I'm not going to confuse you with. Okay, let us be thorough with this. Yes, my dear.
Ma'am, today English grammar.
Yes, class test only. Wait. We need only 10 minutes. Jump. What is this? Jumped.
Jump.
That is, the future tenses will jump. Clear? Similarly, dance. E is there, so you have to just add D to it. That's why I've told you, add D or ED to the verb. Here, DANCE. So just add D to the word to make the verb into past tense. Okay? If it is in the future tense, what do we do? Add will before the verb. That is, will dance. Clear to all of you? Yes, clear? Clear? Yes. So I hope it's clear. I wanted all of you to read page 16 well till 7. That is your duty. Okay, you have to read till 7, and tenses are very, very important in English grammar, children. As you go to the higher classes, you will be learning more about it. Okay, now this is just the base. So the foundation should be very strong. Okay, so I wanted all of you to be learned thoroughly. Tenses means tells us the time when an event occurred or when a person has did something. Okay, so it tells us the time. So in order to know the time, it is divided into 3. That is the present tense, past tense, and the future tense. Present tense means an incident which is happening now. Past tense already happened. Future tense will happen in future. Okay, so I hope it's clear to all of you. Okay. Now let's move on to the class test.
Make class test
Yes, my dear, what is this you're talking? Let me unmute you all first. Sorry, mute you all first. Okay. What happened? 1 minute, my dear. All of you, please do check your chat box, my dear children. Please see that whether you have received it. I'm going to unmute you all, but please don't talk unnecessarily. Only if it's needed, please do open your mouth. Don't read the question loudly. You're in 3rd standard.
I get it.
Yes, I'm sending the link again. Please do check whether you have received it. Let me go through the questions. Okay, click on to the class name. Owls hoot in the night. So you have to find out the verb in the sentence, my dear children. You have to identify the verb. Okay, you have to identify the verb in it. Okay, owls hoot in the night. You have to identify the verb in it. The second question is, there is some change is happening. Well, okay, the second question is, the boy fell in the water. The boy fell in the water. You have to identify the verb.
Ma'am. The first question. Ma'am, the first question was to identify. Ma'am, can you read the seventh question? Ma'am, can you read the seventh question? Ma'am, can you send the group? Ma'am, can you read the seventh question? The exam.
അതെന്താണോ ഞാൻ ശരിക്കാം
I open the chat box and take the link, but it's showing sign in. Finish, ma'am. And the answer is no there. Finish, ma'am. Finish, ma'am.
question paper. If there is something wrong is there, children, I'll be sending the question paper again. Let me recheck it. Okay, I have checked it, but I don't know why it's showing like this. I've checked it once and twice. So owls hoot in the night. They fell in the water.
Send in the WhatsApp.
Yes, okay, I'll be sending it. Then cats can see in the darkness. You have to identify the verb in it, my dear children. Children like mangoes. You have to identify the verb in it. Now in the second question, you have to insert the verb in the blank space. That is the fifth question. That is we dash cricket. So you have to click on to the right answer. Birds dash in trees. Okay. And the eighth question is the snake dash the man. Okay. Finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Your responses. Now it's
Mark is gone.
okay.
Ma'am, can you send again link?
Ah, yes, I'll be sending you the link again.
Ma'am, can you tell the third question? Ma'am, can you send again?
Yes, my dear. Children, I'll be sending you the link again.
Ma'am, I get 8 out of 8. Ma'am, I get 8 out of 8. Ma'am, I got 8 out of 8.
So have all of you completed it?
I got 8 of 8. Ma'am, I got 8 out of 8.
Okay.
Ma'am, I got 8 out of 8. Ma'am, we got 8 out of 8. Got 8 out of 8. Ma'am, we got 8 out of 8. Ma'am, I clicked the link, not coming.
Wait. 1 minute. I'll be sending you the link again.
Ma'am, can you send the WhatsApp?
Yes. I'll be sending.
I got
I'll be
8
sending.
out of 8. I got 8 out of 8.
I'll be sending the link again, my dear children, those who haven't received it.
Ma'am,
Wait, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute.
ma'am, if we finish the test, can't we leave?
Wait, 1 minute, only 1 minute. We are going to wind up the session. Okay, it is. So I've sent the link again, my dear children. Please do check it. Okay, those have asked for it. Those have asked for it, I've sent the link again. Okay, so I'll be sending you the link again in the group, children, so that those who are not unable to write the exam during the session, you can do it from the link which has been sent in the group. Okay. Tulkafil.
Ma'am, please. One more link.
Yes, I'll be sending.
Ma'am, can you send in the class group?
Yes, I'll be sending it in the class group, my dear.
Okay, ma'am.
I hope all must have finished it, no, my dear children? Have all of you completed it?
Yes.
Yes. Can we wind up today's session?
Yes.
Yes, I hope you have understood. The link, I will surely send it in the group, children. Those who are unable to complete it, you can complete it during that time. Okay, those have finished, it's okay. Okay, so it's time for us to wind up today's session, my dear children. Thank you all for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you all.